What's cracking, Jump Nation family? It's your boy here, Rushy S, aka the Jump Rope Coach. Right, so we've all been there, right? You've just started skipping, you're looking to fly like a boss. Then you start getting some pains down the bottom of your shins and it's just excruciating. You can't skip anymore and you feel like, what do you feel like?
Shit.
You feel like shit. So the point being is in today's episode, we're basically bringing in one of my top mates, one of my top physios, to basically talk you through shin splints and how you can just recover quickly and get back to skipping. You could do all these exercises from home, and I'm hoping to make a series around rehab and everything else to do with injuries. So without further ado, I'm going to run that intro as always, and I'm going to see you in the next clip. Peace. Right guys, welcome back. So I'm here with my main man, Bilal. What are you saying?
Thanks for having me, man. Pleasure to be here.
It's all good, man. So Bilal has worked in this field for 5 years now.
Yeah.
He's worked with elite athletes and he's worked also at Everton Football Club, so he knows his stuff. So we're gonna get straight into this video and we're gonna basically discuss what exactly are shin splints.
It's generally known as medial tibial stress syndrome, okay, so that's another way of saying it. And it's generally characterized by a pain which spans around 5 centimeters down your shin bone at the front or slightly to the inside of your shin bone as well. And that generally occurs as a result of inflammation of the periosteum, which is a sheath around your tibia, and the muscles surrounding it, and as a result of weakness as well. And that's something hopefully we're looking to target today. And it generally affects people who have gone from doing a little activity to quite a lot. So not doing jump roping to suddenly jump roping. So that's the main sort of target audience that's affected by shin splints. And hopefully we're going to provide some information today to try and counteract that.
Right, solid. So you guys know roughly where the zone is, where the pain is. Let's just go straight into it. So I'm skipping now,
yep.
and a lot of people out there will feel the same way. They've just got into their journey or they've been skipping for a while and then they feel this pain. What do they do? What are you supposed to do?
Yeah, so I think it's pretty easy. There's 3 main steps and it's something I'll go through with my athletes as well. So the first thing is stop. When you're in pain, that's the biggest alarm of your body saying something's not right here, stop. So when it comes to something like shin splints, we want to stop for at least 2 to 3 days to allow the inflammatory phase of healing to settle down. And then we want at least a week's worth of rehab and conditioning, which is what we're going to talk about later. And that's really important in this case. The second step is icing. Now, the research generally suggests that you need about 800 grams of ice or a bag of peas. You need it on your shin, so at the front, for about 20 minutes on, 20 minutes off. But you can do that 3 times in a day. So, and that's really important just to help for pain mainly, and to try and control any of those symptoms that you're having at the front of the shin. You've stopped now, you've iced your leg, now what? So the third step, and probably one of the most important steps, is thinking about what is going wrong. What do you think is going wrong in your training routine? Are there things that you can fix? Are there things that you might need help with? These are the things we're going to try and discuss now, and try to figure out what we can do to help you.
Sweet, let's do that next.
Okay, so the first risk factor and the easiest one to fix is footwear. So now, people wearing inappropriate footwear, like Converses for example, that generally puts them at more risk of injury and getting shin splints for example. So we want to promote force absorbing shoes, and shoes that disperse force equally around the floor and around your joints.
Hold on a minute, I know a lot of you guys out there are going to be asking, force absorbing shoes, no Converse. Converse are generally quite flat. Now boxing shoes, Gigi, good throw. Boxing shoes are flat, they're super flat, and I've also skipped in boxing shoes, so
yeah.
I mean, is this going to create shin splints for people that use boxing shoes?
That's a very good question, Rush, and my answer to that would be is mainly professional boxers or people who have been doing jump roping for a long time generally would tend to wear these shoes. And not only do they wear these shoes, they wear it in accordance to force absorbing sort of flooring or some form of matting which absorbs that force at the same time. And they have the conditioning and the strength underlying to cope with those forces. So that's hopefully the answer.
So basically because they're just like killer athletes, that they're obviously managing.
They're already conditioned for that, so they can run with that force.
Got you. Right, what's the next point?
So the second risk factor we're going to talk about are surfaces and what we jump rope on. Now generally, concrete, any hard surface, is not a force absorbing sort of surface, and that's the wrong way to go about it. But luckily Rush has his incredible mat here.
That's it, we've got the Rush mat here. So we're gonna show you guys the effects of having a mat whilst you're skipping, and Bilal's going to talk you through what exactly is happening versus what happens on concrete, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Cool, so I'm just going to do my thing here.
So as you can see here, Rush is skipping, and hopefully if you can zoom in and maybe see it in a bit more slow-mo, that the mat itself is absorbing that force and dispersing it across the mat. Whereas if you were to do it on concrete, that force would not be dispersed as well, and the force would travel back up your joints, back up your ankle joint, your knee joints, and really affect those joints in the future as well. So it's really important if you want to jump rope for a long time that you invest in something like this or a mat like this, which really does absorb that force as well.
Right, so what you're basically saying is that as I'm jumping, as I'm skipping, the mat will naturally kind of shift a little bit.
Yeah.
This will then disperse that kind of weight, I'm guessing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Whereas if I'm now on concrete, so we're going to just quickly move to concrete, and this is something I've always mentioned on my channel, and you guys know as well. Skipping on concrete, I've always gone against it. I started skipping on concrete when I first started this channel and everything else, and I used to get a few pains here and there, so I just knew it wasn't good for me. But talk us through what's going on here now.
So here, you can probably feel the difference yourself, is now you're on concrete. That force isn't being distributed as well, and it's probably travelling back up your foot, back up your ankle joint and your knee joint, and it's causing more strain on your joints and the muscles around your joints. So, and I think that's more of a risk factor, and the research suggests that to be quite a big risk factor as well.
Yep, definitely. I can, and also when you're doing things like double unders and things like that, like you just don't get that kind of response from the floor.
Absolutely.
And the knees start to feel a little bit heavy, the legs start to get a bit heavy.
The third risk factor is foot arches. Now this is something which is slightly harder to fix, and you may require more expert opinion, but it's generally when people have flat feet or have more of an arch or exaggerated arch. So that's called pes planus and that's called pes cavus. Okay, so someone that I know personally that suffers from a problem like this is Gigi, and she is going to chuck us.
I got it. Right.
Yes.
This is Gigi's inner sole, right?
Yep.
So what's going on here?
So this, as you can see here, on the medial side of her foot will give her more support. So as she's jump roping, as she is running, she will have that support of her foot, and that again comes down to distributing forces more evenly around the foot and around the ankle joint, and again it's known as a risk factor for shin splints, and now we're trying to reduce that as well with these.
So just to kind of go over that again, so if there could be an issue that your arch is in a certain way, that it's going to then cause that shin splint. So they can go see their physio, their doctor.
So the department generally is known as orthotics or orthoses, which is depending if you're in America or England, but that's the department specialised in these insoles as well.
Sweet, cool. Check these out.
Risk factor number 4 is body weight or body composition. Now this is something which again is a bit harder to address, but that could be generally someone who's generally overweight, or someone on the other side who has too much muscle and hasn't built the lower limb strength to cope with those demands, or hasn't trained specifically in jump roping or running in the first place as well. And I think when you start jump roping, I remember when I saw Rush's videos for the first time, I jumped in for I was Superman and then it didn't end well. So you have to start somewhere, and you have to start by just doing 10 seconds of jump roping, then have a break, 15 seconds of jump roping, and grade yourself in. Don't jump into jump roping, I suppose, and get ahead of yourself, because that's just going to lead to injury because you haven't got the strength and the conditioning beforehand as well.
That's a really good point. So I think what we find on this channel is that when people get straight into it, they want to go at a million miles an hour. Absolutely. They want to obviously practice, and they want to learn all these kind of moves and obviously get brilliant at it. So what you're basically saying is that if you're quite new and you do start to feel these type of pains, then maybe your body isn't quite ready, and that you might just need to take a step back here and there and just grade it, right? Absolutely. So that's really good advice, actually. I like that. Yeah. So the 5th and final risk factor, and probably one of the most important, is having appropriate conditioning, and this is basically going to involve tight muscles around the calf and weak muscles around the shin. So there's 2 sort of muscle groups we can try and work on, and we're going to try and give you a circuit or some form of training routine which you can use to try and strengthen and improve these aspects of your training as well. Sweet. So let's get into that right now. You're going to talk us through some stretches now, right?
Yeah. So the first thing we're going to do is go through 2 stretches. Lengthening is important before strengthening. So we're going to come over here. Cool. And we're going to show Rushy the first stretch. Again, these stretches are quite straightforward. Don't need anything, don't need any equipment. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to put our foot up here like this. Okay. And heel down on the floor, and we're going to lean into it. And we're going to feel that stretch right at the back of the calf.
Am I doing this right?
Yeah, you could probably put your foot higher up a bit more.
Yep.
and then lean into it a bit more like that as well.
Okay, yeah, I feel that stretch here.
Perfect. So we want to hold that for around a minimum of 30 seconds to around a minute.
I really feel it like here on my calves and
exactly,
is that the right space, yeah?
So you want to be feeling it right here, down, up all the way up the calf as well.
Yep.
And maybe even a bit of hamstrings, depending on how tight your hamstrings are as well.
The good thing about this is that you could just do this from home as well, isn't it?
So easy.
It's
so
just
easy.
like, you don't need to go to the gym or anything.
Absolutely. Now, to make sure it doesn't cause any imbalance or anything like that, we want to do the same thing on the other leg as well.
Okay.
Just to make sure everything's balanced.
Sweet. That's a good stretch.
Yeah.
Any more?
And the second one is, if you run around this way, we have this lovely wall here.
Yep.
So that one is going to put your knee against the wall, and you're going to try and bring your leg back as much as you can without your heel raising off the floor. So if I come all the way back here, you can see my heel raises off the floor. So you want to make sure our heel is on the floor at all times. And that'll be a nice stretch as well for the back of your calf. So you want to give that a go?
So we're knee to the wall.
Perfect. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely feel that. And you want to? Am I driving down with anything? Or
No, so it should just be your frontwards forward motion against the wall. And we want to hold that and keep that there for again 30 seconds.
So I'm pushing here now.
Yep.
Forward.
And it's a good test of seeing how far you get, because you'll be able to go further and further back every time you stretch, hopefully.
So now I'm trying to go further back here.
Yep.
Keep my knee on the floor.
Yep.
So that's quite hard now.
Yeah, there we go. So you need to find that middle ground where you can move back. There you go. Perfect. Try that.
Yeah.
There you go. So we're already getting a bit of improvement.
Wow.
And very
I definitely feel that all the way down there and around the back as well. So
exactly. So we've done our lengthening, we've done our stretching, we've been good. Now it's time for our strengthening. And the first thing we're going to do for that, and it's a simple one but a really effective one, is our balance board training.
Cool.
Okay.
So these are pretty cheap. I think I picked this up from, I don't know, eBay, Amazon, one of those ones, but super cheap as well. You can take this at home. What we're going to do with this?
Chuck it on the floor.
That's it.
We're going to use 2 feet together.
Okay.
We use 2 feet to skip, so we're going to try and mimic and jump roping as much as we can.
Okay, so here we are.
Yeah. So the point of this is really good because number one, it focuses on our balance, it focuses on our stabilisation, and it also uses all the muscles around the ankle and the knee to sort of stabilise where you are in space as well.
Cool. I'm going to spin towards you actually.
Absolutely. So all these muscles in your ankle are firing up and fighting against each other to keep you upright.
Yep.
And get that balance. So as you can see here,
Definitely
your
feeling
shin
it.
muscles are feeling it, your calf muscles are feeling it,
Yep.
and the muscles on either side of your joint are feeling it as well. So, and we can make this harder, so you can have your feet closer together, for example.
That is really hard work.
Yeah. So we can make it a bit harder. I can just do that. Good.
That's
I'll push you back.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I'll push you forward. There we go. So that's good balance, good
That does feel good.
stabilisation.
That's a really good exercise
Yeah.
actually. Definitely feel that as well. Feel the muscles actually definitely strengthening, actually trying to work harder to stay balanced.
Absolutely. Good.
Cool. We got another one?
Yes. So the second strengthening exercise we're going to do
Yep.
is using this band and bring your heels up for me.
Yep.
Yeah. Good. So you can bring this leg out and keep this leg here for me.
Yep.
Okay. And I want you to try and bring your foot inwards.
Yep.
Like that, and I want you to control this movement. This movement should be really slow and really controlled, and I want you to move it out for me as well.
Nice. Okay.
Okay? And back slowly. Perfect.
Got
And
you.
out for me as well. Good.
Nice.
Good. And it's also working this other foot here, which is also going to be working
Yeah.
quite hard. So we're going to do that for 10 reps, 3 sets, just for starting off, and we can progress that as you get more comfortable and more confident with it as well.
That's a great exercise. And hopefully they'll help my calves grow a little bit as well. So
Yeah, why not?
cool. So that's the strength exercises, that's the stretches. Anything else?
There is one last one. Now this is quite a difficult one, and this is going to focus on the shin muscles that we've been talking about, where you generally get your pain, and this is what's called a reverse calf raise.
Sweet.
So we see something like a small step here.
Back at the wall, yeah.
Now I'm warning you, this is going to burn your shins, but it's all for a good cause, I suppose. So that's it. So heels down a bit further more.
Down here.
That's it. And I want you to lift your toes up as high as you can take them. That's it. And back down.
That is definitely
Hard work already.
definitely hard work, yeah.
And up again.
So I'm using this wall as a balance here, but
Yeah.
is it better if I didn't have the wall?
I think for the sake of balance and general safety, I think the wall would be fine. I mean, we're just trying to target the shins, so keeping balance is not a problem at this point.
Cool.
So yeah, and again we're going to try and do 3 sets of 10 of these, and it's going to be hard work, it's going to be difficult, but you'll notice that you'll get stronger and stronger as you continue to do these as well.
Sweet. Great exercise there. I'm already feeling that burn. Woo!
Good, good.
A little bit out of breath here, man.
Well,
I haven't done any skipping.
there's one main thing which happens as a result of having shin splints for a prolonged amount of time, and that is a stress fracture. If you have excessive bruising, excessive swelling on top of the pain, and it's been happening for a long time now, then it's something that's developed into a stress fracture and needs to be seen by a doctor or a clinician or a physio as well to assess. So it's really important that you listen to your body and you take note of that as well.
Sweet guys. So we've had that's some quality work, man. Respect to my man Bilal.
My pleasure.
Finally helping me get this episode out. I was never gonna go on Google and try and do this video myself. So I'm glad you came down.
My pleasure.
And we've got the right professionals to give you guys the best advice. So listen, if you have any more questions, give me a comment down below. Hopefully Bilal will be chasing those comments as well. Can help me reply back.
Of course.
And if you have any more injuries or any more kind of feedback, again, leave me a comment and we'll try and get that video out there for you. So listen guys, thank you so much for your love and support. Thank you so much to Bilal.
My pleasure.
That was good, man.
Yeah, man, it's good.
His first video. Quality, man.
First video. Don't get too hard with me, man, please.
Listen guys, I'm going to catch you in that next episode as always. So without further ado, take care of yourself. Skip the treadmill. Stay safe. Peace. What's up YouTube family, the Jump Rope Coach here. Just want to say a massive thanks for helping me build this community with you all. You guys are absolutely incredible. Your support is my oxygen and all I want to do is create more and more value for you all. So if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button so you guys can be up to date with all the latest tutorials and workouts coming your way. So without further ado guys, take care of yourself, skip the treadmill, stay safe. Peace.